Record.
Got it. Cool.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew, for speaking with me today. Please give us an idea of like your background, how you grew up, so we can get a sense of who you are.
Okay. So grew up, you want from like childhood onwards, or are you
Yeah,
uh
where are you from? Like, give us an idea of like your family background. That way we can get an idea of the influences of what led you to become a coach at this current.
okay. Yeah, sure. So I was born in Nottingham, which is in the East Midlands of the UK. And then around, I think it was 10 years of age, moved down to the southeast as my dad had to move that way for work. So he moved the family down south, and from there went to county school and didn't really, I suppose, find my feet there. It was all a bit of a blur. It was usually more
Mhm.
focused around break times and getting out school than actual school work. So I didn't really find anything that I enjoyed educationally wise. County school. Then I went on to college to focus more on, I enjoyed sports. So then pursued that at college and at university. So Bournemouth University, which is in Southwest, and did my sports science degree there.
Mhm.
And from there, enjoyed, let's say, certain avenues, certain aspects of the degree, and went on to work as a health professional. I got a job with a health company, let's say a health club, and became a personal trainer on exiting university. Then went on to do that for a little bit. I didn't really find that it was having the impact that I thought it was. I think because with the personal training side of things, it was much a case that you see someone for a week, for an hour a week, and then you wouldn't see them again for like another week or so.
Mhm.
And it wasn't really having that much, 1 hour of exercise or an hour of engagement with that person wasn't having much effect on their lifestyle choices. So I decided I wanted to do a little bit more and have a little bit more impact on people's health. So then qualified as a nutritionist and then did more qualifications. So I did some in psychology and also sleep and stress management. My thoughts were that it's all right, people knowing this stuff, but if they're not doing it, if they can't implement them, if they're not changing their behavior, then it's a bit irrelevant.
Yeah, that makes
Everyone
sense.
everyone knows what to do. Everyone knows what they should be doing, but they're not doing what they should be doing just because they're not changing their behavior around it. So, um, yeah, getting the underpinning sort of knowledge about this, sort of everything first, and then applying like the psychology to just say, this is how we actually get you to do this stuff. And that was the big change, I think, for me, like this, the psychology introduction and learning about that and becoming a practitioner there, because you're then you're dealing with this, the psychology and the behavior change to get people to do the actual, the exercise, the nutrition, the sleep, etc. So that was what made me realize how important that aspect of it was in coaching. And then from there went on to become a health and well-being physiologist. So I would have meetings at the health club with people and go through, I suppose, like human diagnostics. So you'd look at cholesterol, you'd look at blood glucose, you'd look at all the different metrics, sort of popping the hood, as it were, on a car, and just sort of having a look around and seeing, getting a really concise view of someone's health. And then I'd write a report based on that, make some suggestions and behavior change and things that people could do with their routines and their lifestyle. And the reports would then get sent off to their insurance. So it would affect their life insurance premium. So, it could have been a really good outcome. And, they were happy with the results, and that way their life insurance premiums would go down. Or it wasn't such a happy let's say meeting, and obviously they would see their life insurance premiums go up because they picked up some poor habits along the way. So from there, I just started my own consultancy, thinking that actually I could do this better outside of the club and get better results for people and not be so confined by the corporate or the club, let's say, remits and what we could and what we couldn't do. So I started my own consultancy a few years back, and then been coaching. I suppose I'd call myself like a lifestyle engineer. So ensuring that people have got habits and routines and instilling discipline and behavior change to help people get the lifestyle that they're after. And that's it. Okay. And here we are.
Okay, that's great. Could you please tell for the audience the name of your consulting and then the name of like your well-being practice?
So you'll find me on my website, which is andrewshawbsc.com, and social media is the same, Andrew Shaw BSc. So if you want to find me, contact me, or have a look at any of the content that I put out, you can find it all there. Was there somewhere else that you were after? Because I think you mentioned with my consultancies, it's online coaching. So it's not like a physical location. I work with people from all over the place. So that was another sort of reason for going out on my own, that I wasn't confined by, let's say, physical location geography. So the World Wide Web has allowed me to work with people all over.
Yeah, and you can help more people. And I'll have links to all of Andrew's profiles in the description for all of you who are watching. Now, I noticed about your YouTube channel. Now, the first video was made like 4 years ago, and it's been, I believe, about 2 years since your last video. So can you give an idea of like when you started posting videos, what was your goal for that?
For me, with the YouTube channel, it was I suppose it came from quite a from like an interest and an intrigue side of things, where I wanted to learn more about that specific area of health, and I would do my research, and then I would test that out on myself, whatever it may be, sort of increasing strength, improving sleep, managing stress, weight loss, whatever it would be. So I'd then test that on myself, and then I would find the most revered people in that area. So neuroscientists or exercise professors, sleep doctors, and I would, to gain a better understanding of it, contact them and just invite them to come on and talk to me. And in that way, I'd learn more, it'd consolidate what I learn, and then I also got to pick their brains as well. So after the research and the self-experimentation, I then go to them and ask them questions on my YouTube and my podcast, and just say, have I understood this correctly? What do you think about this? This is what I found from testing on myself. This is what I found from working using this with other people, and they would, on the whole, I was in the right direction, and they'd offer me some, let's say, some food for thought, and just say, yep, that's pretty much it. You've got it. You've got a good handle on that. Another thing to consider is this as well. So it would just, it was really for me to test my theories and get a better understanding about the areas that interested me. So yeah, and other people can. It's at I put it at a level where Joe Blogs can understand it. It's not it's not involved or anything. It's just general questions that people want to know. What's the best diet, or what's the best way to improve my health and fitness? What's the best way to get a better quality of sleep? It's just the stuff that most people struggle with in their life. And yeah, that's why I put that together.
Okay. And I believe the last video was about 2 years ago. Have you ever considered like getting back into YouTube? Because I'm sure a lot of information has changed. You've learned a lot. You've gone through a lot of things in that period of time.
So I would just address the point that you made there about things have changed. Pretty much, when you look at you get down to the gubbins of it and the crux of things, everything, there's not a lot of change with, thermodynamics doesn't change. The way that we build muscle doesn't change. The sort of sleep practices and what we need to do to optimize our sleep, nothing changes per se in how we do those things. They're the same. If we want to lose weight, we're going to have to affect a calorie deficit. If we want to build muscle, we're going to have to put more stimulus over protein, our muscle. So not a lot sort of changes when you get down to it. There's lots of methods and new, let's say, concepts that come out. But if you get past the not facade, but the smoke and the mirrors and the methodology, and you get down to the crux of it, it is pretty much the same at the basis. So I'm just trying to cut out the middleman and just say, you don't have to do this diet. You don't have to, sleep in this cryogenic chamber. You don't have to do this. All you have to do is this, essentially, which hasn't changed for, well, since human beings are spawned. So we work the same way. There might be slight nuances. I'm talking about your sort of general people. Some people's metabolic, let's say, rate will be different to someone else's because they might have, let's say, a condition. But on the whole, if we're looking at general population, we all work the same way. Have I ever thought about going back in? I mean, not at this moment in time. Because covering all of those topics, going back and speaking to people in those areas again, the same results would come out, if you see what I'm saying. So if we burn all the books, let's say science and religion, bear with me with this, over time, the science books would come back the same because of science, how we test things, the research, the results would come back the same. So me going back and speaking to these people, the same outcomes would be gleaned from the interviews. There might be some, let's say, nuances or slight changes. We might find that actually olive oil is pretty good to cook with, and so there might be some ever so slight nuances with regards to foods and discovery of this, that, and the other, and but how we work as human beings, it would be the same thing repeated. So if I went back and spoke to those people, there wouldn't be much difference with regards to the conclusion and the answers to their questions. So in an answer, no is the answer to that, really. I hadn't thought about that. Maybe in the future, doing more like video myself and putting my thoughts on it, possibly. But with 2 jobs and family, it's not high on my list of priorities right now.
Okay. So for the audience, basically, if the audience wants to check out your channel, all the basics are there if they just want to get what they
Yeah.
need to start losing weight, get healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a proponent of finding out what works for you. The majority of people, the diets out there and the let's say the exercise methods out there, they're not diets or exercise methods, they're business models. What people have got to understand is an individual or a company have come up with this, and we're like, how can we monetize weight loss? How can we put our unique spin on it? How can we wrap that up and bottle it up and create this diet that's new, different, unique, obscure, and it has to be, right? Because no one buys like a boring this is the science, this is, no one's interested in that. People are interested in the extremes. No one wants vanilla, they want rocky road, chocolate shit, they want extreme, they don't want middle of bland things, they want these extremes. So companies create these, let's say, diets and products to go with it, and this is the new best thing, and all they're doing is rehashing something to affect an energy deficit. So it's a lot of this is the packaging side of things. So it's just, with my whole ethos is just cutting through that, cutting out the middleman and just going, right, what do you like doing, or what's your diet look like? And it's got to be something that people enjoy and it can adhere to. Adherence is number one. If it's there's no point being inconsistently perfect. You're better being consistently good. With these things, everyone tries these new regimes, and because they haven't been perfect, they throw in the towel. So there's got to be tolerance. There's got to be your lifestyle taken into consideration, what the foods that you like, the exercise that you like, what's your circadian rhythm look like, what's your allostatic load with your stress, how much can you take, what are you doing to manage that, how are your relationships, and what's your support and your environment look like. So it's very much individual based, and I think a lot of people go wrong when they go along with the mass, the what's this thing, or what's this group doing, and
the latest fad.
Yeah, the latest fad. So they'll pick up on that, or they'll join this one. They'll try out this one, and it's not for them. And people try all these different methods, and what they really need to do is look at their own. What's their lifestyle look like? Work around that, rather than them fit into something else that's never going to last. They're just going to revert back to what they were doing before they tried that fad. So I'm very much a proponent of looking at the individual and getting, let's say, an idea on what their lifestyle looks like and how can they improve that. It's not complete overhaul. It's not putting your lifestyle to one side and then getting on board with this fad and completely overhauling everything. It's more of making changes to your lifestyle, like fix that, rather than chucking it to one side and then buying a new thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes
cool.
sense.
Great.
Okay, for the members of our audience who may be thinking about getting into consulting or becoming a coach. Maybe
Mm,
they're already in the gym and they're already exercising, they're already eating right, and now they want to take that knowledge and experience and start either making some money or helping other people. What
mm.
advice would you give those individuals?
Um, to start off, it's a very noble thing, what they when they want to do and help other people and improve their health. Um, but what will put them ahead, what will put you ahead, is having a good understanding around these things and making sure that you not only talk the talk but walk the walk. So I only teach from experience. I, say someone wants to, I don't know, come to me and they want to compete in some certain discipline. Unless I've done that myself, I'll refer out and just say, oh, look, I can't help you with that. So making sure that you've got integrity and you actually know and you've been there and done it and got the t-shirt and can convey that to other people, that's a big thing, because most people out there, the aspiring health coaches and current health coaches have little to no. There's a few, but the majority have little to no underlying knowledge of how the science behind this stuff works. So, if you quizzed, let's say, just found someone on the internet and just quizzed them about like weight loss and what do you need to do, they'd probably give you a diet. They say, oh, you need to cut out carbohydrates. And then if you probed a little bit deeper and you said, well, why do you do that? And then they said, oh, carbs will do this and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, why? If you keep on asking, you'll get to a point where they just don't know. They haven't tried it themselves. Or if they have, they'll have put the weight back on. So their knowledge is like very shallow and surface level. So making sure that you know your onions is the single most important thing. And then if you've done self-experimentation or you have experience in that, then you're miles ahead of everyone. People won't have done, the majority of people out there won't have done what they're actually coaching on. So you can be unique, you can be efficient, you can put yourself ahead of the competition by, let's say self-experimentation, putting yourself in a position of, okay, I'll try this on myself before I help other people. It's like the maxim, fit your own face mask first before you help someone else with theirs. So you've got to be in a position to understand and help other people. Otherwise you've got no experience. People will go, oh, okay, well, why do I have to cut out carbs? And I've cut out carbs, but I'm still not. And then they're stuck because they don't know. So knowing it, testing it, and definitely like the psychology around human behavior is a big hurdle to get over, but it will be worth it, because once you understand how people work and how you can change their behavior, you'll get better results. It's all right saying, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, but getting them to do it is a completely different thing. Okay.
So just to condense that into like a short
Yeah.
phrase, you would recommend someone actually goes real deep in the information that they're going to either deliver to their clients, instead of taking a wide approach, focus on that depth. Like you said, know your onions, be able to
Yeah.
answer all these questions in a specific niche. So basically becoming an expert in your field.
Yeah, that's what's going to do. I mean, that's going to put you ahead of the competition. I see people get by on just being one step ahead of their clients. Do you know what I mean? So it will be very shallow and surface level. But the problem is when that client comes to you with a problem that's above surface level and this shallow knowledge gap, then you're stuck because you've never been in that situation. So helping yourself and your clients by putting yourself in that situation, getting the t-shirt in, as people say, and going, oh, when their clients call you, you know exactly how to answer, you know exactly how to help them because you've done it. You've done it before. So you can convey that experience and you can inform them. You say, look, yeah, I know that happened to me, blah, blah, blah. So this is how I got around it. And this is, that made me feel a whole lot better from doing that. And that's what got me the results. So it's putting yourself in that position, that they want to get to, because people should be choosing like a coach on what, if that they've achieved what they want to achieve. For me, picking out a coach, I'm going to do my due diligence, look at that person and go, okay, have they actually done this themselves? Would they know the answer to these questions? Has that person got what I want, or are they just professing to be an expert and I haven't really seen any proof that they've actually got the results that I'm after? So how would they help me if they can't do it themselves? So making sure, you've got that experience is for me very important, and will put you miles ahead of the competition.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. I would love to do a follow-up video for everyone in the audience. I will have links to his website, his YouTube channel, and everything that you need to check out him and his material.
Cool.